absolute honor and pleasure to finally have Pastor Jamie Holtom in studio with us. Todd, since the beginning of Making Our Seniors Matter Radio, I've been saying to Glenn and Liz that I really wanted to have Jamie as one of our guests. As we all talk about here on the show, it's holistic in nature, and certainly spirituality is a really important aspect of that. And what an honor to have Pastor Jamie with us, Citizen of the Year in Brampton in 2015. He's immensely involved in our community with working with marginalized populations, neighborhood cleanups, the Evening of Hope, of course, in memory of his son, Lucas Carnival Day. And one of the things, he walks the walk and talks the talk, and often quotes, he quotes Jesus by saying, "I came not to be served, but to serve." That says it all. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Margaret. Glad to be here. Yeah.
Now, of course, you were kind enough to lend your beautiful spirit to our promo Making Our Seniors Matter video last summer.
Yeah.
And now you're here in studio with us. We're so thrilled to have you, as you're such a fabric of this community and beyond in really trying to make a difference in the lives of others.
Oh, thanks. We're in it together, aren't we? And I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
We appreciate all the help. Thank you, Jamie. So let's just start by getting some basics, the difference between religion and spirituality as you see it, and how that helps us understand the rest of our conversation.
Sure, yeah. Well, that is a great question. There's a huge difference in my mind. I think religion generally sounds kind of negative, and spirituality sounds positive, to be honest. Religion is often associated with rules or laws that feel obligatory, that feel heavy, that feel you could never live up to. And I think spirituality, there's an openness. I'm open to, and even if people don't understand everything, because no one really does. Bono, I love what Bono said really well. He said, I got no problems with Jesus. He said it's the people who try to follow him that I have some problems with. I think sometimes there's this human factor that gets in the way when you talk about religion. So for me, spirituality is all about a relationship with God, faith, Jesus, and Jesus, certainly that was his model. He had this intimate relationship with the Father himself. And then he always said to people, come and follow me. Come and follow me. Not even come and believe a certain thing or do it, just come and follow. It's about a relationship. And I think within or beyond the church, when we remember that's what it's all about, that's where God's transforming work can really be done.
Yeah. I've never, every time I hear you speak, I'm always captivated because you always have a different spin. And I think that's so important when we're talking about reaching people generally. And you connect with young and old, Jamie, because of your passion. Spiritual values and beliefs can provide a foundation for many choices and decisions that we make later in life. And how do you see that connection for older people? Because that's here what we're talking about with Making Our Seniors Matter.
Sure, yeah. I think what we're talking about is, if go back to that first question, spirituality, a relationship with God, it changes who you are. And if it changes who you are, it changes everything that you do. And so our vision is imagine God building better lives, better families, a better Brampton, and beyond. And we really believe that when you have entered into this spiritual life, never with perfection, nobody's perfect, no one's got it all figured out, but somehow God moves into your life, even to discover that you're loved. Like that's a huge, we've all been in a place on days, even within the same day, where you're feeling loved and when you're feeling loved. And when you're feeling loved, you behave differently. You drive differently. You relate to your spouse differently. You do everything differently. It gets you out of yourself because you feel valued. Beliefs affect what we do with our life. I think everybody on the planet pretty much is always asking, what's my purpose in life? And the Christian faith would say that God came to redeem or to bring healing and hope to a broken world. We live in a very challenging world. Life is hard for everybody. So that's a reality. And so if that's the belief, and then he came in Jesus, took on human flesh, that was time for Jesus to go. And Jesus said, I give you my spirit that you might continue to work, or I like the word movement. You continue the movement that I came to begin. You are a participant in what God is doing in the world. When you live like that, no matter what your age, you get out of bed differently. You live differently. True. Again, not with perfection, but just my life matters. I'm loved, and I can make a difference in this world every single day.
I like the non-perfection part because we're all striving for that, and you always feel defeated if you haven't done it to perfection.
Yeah.
But if you can take that load off just a little bit, It makes it nice.
There's a word called grace, which I don't know if
I
I'll
love
ever
that word.
fully understand, but I think that's a big piece. And I think if we're here, we have an audience that's way beyond the church, which I love, because God is way beyond the church. But I think sometimes that's something that holds people back. Oh, maybe when I get it together, maybe when
Yes.
I'm more
When I'm
perfect.
ready, when I need it.
Yeah,
Yes,
but that
yes,
actually
got
is
it.
when
Yeah.
God can do God's best work, because the human condition is such that we'll never have arrived, and that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. We
Yeah.
shouldn't lose the
But
journey.
grace
right?
comes in and sort of, nice.
Fixes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Fills in the gaps. Fills in the gaps. I like to put it that way.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's a good way.
Yeah.
So faith gives strength to people, peace to people. So when we're aging and as we get to that time in our life, and I know it comes early and late for some, but we're talking about
Yeah.
seniors here, how do you see them adjusting to the idea that soon life may be over, and if they haven't been faithful or spiritual people, there's a change sometimes in the
Yeah.
need to look for that, and
Yeah.
the need to understand what that might mean for them.
Mm-hmm.
When my mom died, her faith was really high.
Mm.
Always has been, but at that particular moment, it gave me great peace
Yeah.
to know she was okay with what was going to happen in the next day or so. And I know there's lots of people who don't have that. So,
Mhm.
what do you say to them to get them to the point
Yeah.
where there's that peace?
Yeah, I mean, one would be it's never too late. Like, there's never a bad time to grow.
Yeah.
You know, really. And I think sometimes, I hate to bracket or people in a category, but I think sometimes when you're in those later seasons of life, often you have a bit more time to reflect. Not that I know people, my mom is in her
Busy,
mid-70s,
right?
and there's nobody who's busier than her, but I still think there's a reflection that happens a little more where you're maybe more open than you've been. And I know, to use my mom as an example, my mom and dad have grown in their spiritual life in the last 3 to 5 years in just beautiful ways. They're starting to pray and read some scripture, and it's really impacting again who they are. Take worry. My mom would be a self-confessed worrywart. Like, she's a huge worry.
I know that lady.
Yeah, well, you know, and we all are. I think if we're honest, like, we all
I
are.
got the hairs to
stressed.
prove it.
Yeah. But it's been amazing to see how this relationship with God is really working itself in her life in a way that, of course, never perfect. It's not like she doesn't worry, but a little less worry. And there's this peace that comes. The scriptures say that God will give us a peace that surpasses all understanding, that'll guard us. You know, and I think when we have that kind of peace, it really does happen. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
This is really personal to me because when I'm hearing you speak and we're talking about people near the end of their life, as many of our listeners know, my dad passed just 3 months ago, a huge gap and loss, but no regret, because as I watch, as we lived together with heart open and hands on and watched my dad was a very spiritual man. He'd be the first to say, I don't necessarily have to be in the walls of a church. And yet that doesn't make me less spiritual than the next person. He came to several of your services and enjoyed them. He didn't feel obliged to go because it's the way he lived. And in the end, watching that process, it really resonated when you talked about being loved and having a connection.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I watched that with my dad. With grace, him go through that process and confidently on to the next stage, which did bring peace to myself and my mom, and also fuel for me moving forward to try to continue to live with that in mind, because it is powerful, Jamie. Whatever your definition is, and like you said, the Christian faith, we have many people from many different walks of life and faith here. And I know you link arms with many faith leaders in our community. It's not just about being Christian. So thanks for that, because during my healing right now, hearing those types of things, that really impacts me. I'm actually a little tearful.
Oh, again. Our Margaret, I'll tell you, they're always, I got Kleenex box here, but
I know.
Jamie, lead us with a message, will you please, to go out into the universe today, and something to say to our senior listeners and their families.
Yeah. I would say, I would just want to offer a word of encouragement, and just to, as I said and look out this window, the beauty of this day. When I walked in this morning, in the 3-minute walk from the doors to here, I passed 2 or 3 people I happen to know. I just had a beautiful interaction, and a couple of people, you could tell they're having a tough day. And so, but you can be the one, if you're having a tough day, know that God is here, all is well. Life is good. Just enjoy the moment, the beauty of this world that we've been given, this day that we have. But also know that you can be a blessing to others. In a place like this, one of my good friends, he's a mentor. He's in his late 80s, and he's in a home like this. and he is a servant. Like he's the one who people come to, and you can see God's life in him blessing other people. We can do that through a simple smile in a place like this, in a handshake. Hey Joey, how you doing today? And so I just would encourage people both to be blessed. Be blessed, God is here, but also be a blessing to those around you, wherever you are.
Thank you, Jamie. We just want to remind our listeners that we tape at Greenway Retirement Village, and every time we come, we get the joy of saying good morning to somebody sweet, and we get a smile, and it's beautiful. Thank you, Jamie.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And I hope that you will come back again as we grow and learn here on Making Our Seniors Matter Radio, and I'm going to say it again, soon to be Making Our Seniors Matter TV.
Yes. I would love to. Yeah.
Awesome. Stay tuned as we've got lots more coming your way here on Making Our Seniors Matter.